Good morning, Peacemakers. It's the last day of July, and we get close to the time for school to start. Um, I was I was reading from the book of Jonah this morning, and I wanted to share with you a couple things that came to mind. Often when we preach and teach Jonah, we focus on chapter 1, 3, and 4. Kind of leave chapter 2 alone, or just gloss over it. But the truth is, chapter 2 is pretty important. It's it can be classified or stated as a prayer of desperation for sure. It's when Jonah is in the belly of the whale and he's praying. He prays to God and God answers his prayer by speaking to the fish, and he coughs him up in the last verse. But one of the things Jonah talks about in verse 2 is that he says, literally, I called out to the Lord, to you from hell, and you heard my cry. And of course, not literal hell, but a hell of his making, because he had been disobedient to the Lord before this. Um, uh, he was desperate. He was desperate to get an answer from God, and he talks about the conditions that he's in and what he's facing, and you can just feel the angst and the desperation in his voice. I looked up the word desperation, and it says that it's a feeling of great angst that often leads to rash or extreme behavior. And certainly that is the case. That is what Jonah was feeling, a sense of angst or anxiousness, great fear because of the place that he found himself. But it says that he trusted the Lord. Even though he had been disobedient, and that's what put him in the place he was in, he trusts the Lord. He called out to the Lord, and the Lord was willing to hear him. Jonah's not a great example of an obedient person, except being forced to do so. But he is an example of someone that knew where to go, knew what to do whenever he faced great difficulty, a time of desperation in his life. Prayer is always the answer. No matter what else is going on, what else you might do to deal with your time of desperation, prayer is always the answer. Always appropriate. It always makes sense to go to God and lay it at his feet. So I would encourage you to do that. I would encourage you to always think that my first act, whatever I'm facing, my first act, my first motion, if you will, action would be to pray and ask God to deliver me from even situations that I put myself in. Turn to God, draw nigh to him, as he promised, and he will draw nigh unto us. I want to, speaking of desperation, we've got some folks that need your prayers. The young girl that we've been praying for a long time, Peyton Smith from Colorado, granddaughter, Brother Jim Smith, one of our preacher friends from out there. Well, there's been a bit of a turn for the worse. Things were going good for so long, but it seems that they've decided to discontinue for the time being those infusions they were giving her every month, and instead they're looking at the possibility of having to go back and do some radiation. She's the little girl that has the tumor in the center of her brain. Just a 10-year-old, maybe 11-year-old by now, but I would encourage you, please pray for her. I know you prayed for her before. It's been a long time, but pray for her. I got the chance to meet her back in the spring, and sweet youngin', just loves the Lord and very outspoken, very matter of fact about things. But I'm asking you to pray for her and ask God to be with her. Then, of course, we also want to ask you to pray for Brother Shane Singleton. I don't know a lot about what's going on other than the fact that he is um, either in the process or has begun his treatments for his cancer. I just ask God to be with him and give him strength that he can go through it, and it will work. And yeah, so I ask you to do that. And I ask you to pray for our kids as they head back into the classroom. Sometimes school, even among their friends, can be a bit of a hostile environment to their spiritual life or their Christianity. So pray that God will put a hedge of protection around them, their little minds and their hearts, and that they will be the light that the Lord would have them be among their friends and the people at their schools. Just be praying for them, if you will. God bless you.